Millions of people in England who have been sent a life-saving home testing kit that can detect early signs of bowel cancer are being encouraged to use it and return it as part of a new first-of-a-kind NHS campaign. To learn more, we speak to Lisa, who is a health improvement specialist at St George's University Hospital in the Bowel Cancer Screening Centre.
So what is the NHS Bowel Cancer Screening campaign, and who's in it?
Yeah, so currently it's a national campaign that's going on at the moment to basically raise awareness around the importance of doing your bowel cancer screening. So essentially what we found is that when it comes to uptake in the eligible group, which is currently 56 to 74, we found that there's pockets of areas across the country where screening could be a lot greater. So what NHS England have done is they've put together a great campaign at the moment, which is essentially trying to raise awareness just across the patch. So it's kind of like you'll find there's like a lovely TV advert that's basically encouraging people to kind of, when you receive your screening kit, to place it by the toilet. So when you do your poo, you will instantly remember, because your screening kit is right next to you in the toilet, to actually do it. And we'll talk about how to actually do the kit and what it is a little bit later on. But that's essentially the campaign that's going on right now.
Okay, and why is it that they've started targeting people of African and Afro-Caribbean descent for this campaign?
So it's just because we found that when it comes to screening, there's particular key groups that we know screening could be greatly increased, and that tends to be people from BME communities. That also tends to be people with learning disabilities as well, and also men. So the screening campaign is not just targeted only at BME communities, but it does essentially include them, because we know the screening uptake could be far greater.
When you receive the screening kits, is it easy to do the test at home?
Yeah, it's very easy. So I actually have an example kit here.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you're talking about it to kind of show, so people kind of know what it looks like and what they're going to receive in the post. But yeah, it's a really simple test. So you'll get it, it'll come in a discreet package. Essentially, it's a small kit. It's literally as small as this. So I'm pretty sure you can see just how small it is. Literally my little finger, a very small test. And essentially, this is what you use to collect your stool sample. So when you receive the kit in the post, what you'll be encouraged to do is go to the toilet as you normally would, do a poo. But when you go to the toilet, we encourage you to collect that stool sample. So ideally, we don't want the poo to touch the water. So what you need to do is collect it either in a clean container, or you can wear a glove and poo directly into your hand. I know, right? When you say it doesn't sound great, but these are just the various options that you can do. You can use a plastic bag on your hand if you prefer, or you can poo directly into tissue. It's up to you. The main thing is you capture it straight coming from your bottom. And once you do, it's really simple. You've got this test here. You simply open it up, so small. Simply open it up and you literally scrape it across your stool sample, and then you pop it back inside and it's done. Literally that simple. And all you'll need to do will already come in a prepaid envelope. You'll simply need to place the date of when you did your sample and place it in the envelope and pop it in the post and send it off.
What is it exactly they're looking for?
Good. So essentially they're looking for blood in your stool. It's as simple as that. And it tends to be blood actually that probably isn't seen by the human eye. So it's a really sensitive test, and essentially they're just looking to identify whether there's blood in the stool, because blood in the stool can be an early sign or indicator of bowel cancer.
Okay, and so when all of that's happened, it's gone to the lab, when can you then expect your results to get back? And
yeah, it should
formats as well.
Yeah, so it should come back within 14 days of when you first send it off in the post. Really straightforward. To be honest, it normally comes back a lot quicker than that, but we just say allow 14 days for your kit to come back.
Okay, so they just post it to you, or they send an email, or?
No, so they'll send a letter. And when they send the letter, it'll basically be one of three things. So it will either be a negative result. So a negative result means that no blood was found in your stool. And that's fine. And you'll be recalled again in 2 years. So the screening is every 2 years from 56 to 74 for both men and women at the moment. And if it's negative, you'll be just recalled again in 2 years. If it's positive, that means that blood was found in your stool. It doesn't, however, mean it's bowel cancer. It just means that because blood was found in your stool, it's really important that we do further investigations to essentially rule out bowel cancer, or if it is, identify it. So it will be a positive. If it's a positive, the next step would be essentially going for further testing. Or the third possible result could be it's inconclusive. So that just means that for whatever reason, they weren't able to collect a sample, get a result, and they'll essentially send you out a new kit for you to send it, do it again and send it off.
Okay. Inconclusive doesn't mean that there's necessarily anything to worry about though, does it?
Not at all. There's various reasons for why it might be an inconclusive test. It simply just means you need to do it again. So not to get anxious.
Okay. And how many people would you know? Is it a lot of people that actually when they go out and do this test, it turns out they do have bowel cancer? Or what sort of people are we seeing?
Really small numbers. We're looking at like around 1 to 3%. So essentially, when you first send off your kit, out of every 100 people that send off their kit, about 3 of those will come back with a positive result, meaning that they then need to go on and do a test. And out of those 100 people with positives, only one of those, or essentially about 1%, will essentially be a positive for a cancer. So we're talking really, really small numbers here. So not to scare anyone. In cancer in general, early diagnosis is always key, but particularly because we're talking about bowel cancer, things to bear in mind is that, this screening really essentially does save lives. Early bowel cancer detection, if you get diagnosed at your early stage, we're looking at 1 and 2, you've got a 98% chance of survival, so like 9 in 10. Whereas if it drops down to late stage, around 3 and 4, it drops down to around 43%, which is quite significant. So essentially, it just highlights why it's so important to do a screen, especially if you're eligible. And like I said, eligibility criteria, and I keep on emphasising this, is between 56 to 74. Over the next couple of years, by 2025, we'll actually roll down to 50-year-olds as well. So essentially, by 2025, bowel screening will also include 50-year-olds from 50 through to 74 every 2 years. Those are the main things. And I really do just want to highlight as well that, it's really important to know your body and to understand the bowel cancer signs and symptoms as well. So regardless of whether you fall in the screening age or if you're younger or if you're older, always knowing if there's anything different in your body is really essential. So bowel cancer symptoms to look out for is essentially firstly blood in your stool. So whenever you go to the toilet, it's really important that, when you wipe your bottom, you check the tissue to see if there's any blood, or you look inside the toilet to see if there's any blood in your stool. Also, a lump or pain in your belly could be an early sign of bowel cancer. Also, we found that unexplained weight loss can be an early sign of bowel cancer, and feeling bloated as well and extremely tired. But just to highlight, it doesn't mean that if you get these symptoms as bowel cancer, it's just that we know these are the symptoms. So it's really important that people, look out for these, and also finally, changing bowel habit. So if you find that, you're either going to the toilet too much, so diarrhea, or not going enough, so constipation, that could be a sign of bowel cancer. So just bear all these things in mind, and if anything ever pops up, make sure you go and see your GP about it.
Your next poo could save your life. Just a tiny sample detects signs of cancer before you notice anything wrong. If you're sent a bowel cancer screening kit, put it by the loo, don't put it off.
Screening at the moment, so the screening age at the moment is from 56 to 74. So if you're between 56 and 74, and if you're registered with the GP, then automatically every 2 years you receive your kit in the post. However, as you said, we do know that younger people are getting bowel cancer as well. And, I often get questions about, well, if I'm younger, I can't access screening. And that's true. You're not able to access screening. But what you can do is, like I said, know about the signs and symptoms, because if anything, if you're younger, you obviously symptoms are something that you would notice, and would to essentially go and see a GP. So even if you're not eligible for screening, it's just about knowing what the signs and symptoms are and looking out for those, essentially, if you're younger. Even if you do a screening, to be honest, I always say, even if you do a screen and your result is negative, 3 months later, you might start developing bowel cancer symptoms. And it's not because you had a negative 3 months ago that you think, okay, I don't need to go to the doctor. It's always important that no matter what your age, that if you develop any type of bowel cancer symptoms, you go and you get seen by your GP.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And where can people go for further information about this?
Yeah, so there's various places where you can go online. You can go on Cancer Research UK website and Bowel Cancer UK website, and NHS England also have a bowel cancer website they've dedicated particularly for this campaign, which we will share the link with you guys as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.